Won't want to miss the new show, Rockstar Diaries, starring Janine and Tracy Smith. Check it out.
Hey, welcome to Rockstar Diaries.
Woo! Yay!
I'm Mr. Tracy Lee Smith. This is the wonderful Janine.
Janine Emily Smith, we are so happy to be here, aren't we?
Yes, we are. It's
On
an
this
amazing show,
Wednesday.
as they all are, but we always have amazing guests.
This guest is just gonna blow you away.
Steve Abramowicz.
Yes, and his book is Songs About the Heartland. He is not just a writer, podcast host. He is a rock star who can pull the truth out of people. I just can't say enough about this guy. You are going to love him. So we want to invite Steve to the stage.
Here he is.
Woo!
Let's give him a warm welcome.
Hello, how are you today?
That's good. That's a pretty big shoes to fill. Never been called a rock star before, but I'll take it.
You are a rock star, and we're so honored to have you on our show and to get to know you. We are working with you on other projects. I mean, just tell the world where Songs About the Heartland come. Let's just dive right into that.
Well, the lyric is actually a George Strait song from a song called Heartland. And my podcast, my company, my everything is Heartland Journal. And so, the theme is basically songs about the heartland. And so what happened was I came across this idea of creating a podcast spun out of a hometown newspaper in a little corner of the country, Mill Creek, Washington. And it used to be called the Mill Creek View and Mill Creek View podcast. And so I was bringing on voices that weren't getting mainstream media press. And it took off. And so 2 years ago next week, we rebranded it to Heartland Journal so that I can cover everywhere in the country, not just that little sliver of Washington. And here we are, 500 episodes later. And so the songs are the voices that I've had on my show that needed to sing, needed to be heard, but were not being heard by mainstream media in that cancel culture era that we may or may not still be in. It's hard to tell sometimes. And that's what made the book. And so I interwove my own life in there because I was a victim of cancel culture and always sort of a march to the beat of my own drummer and take the path less traveled. And so it just gelled. It just made sense. So I wrote a book about songs about the Heartland, and I wrote a songs about the Heartland, and I have a company called Heartland Journal.
Which we are now a part of. Everything comes full circle. My book is going to be on that same publishing company with Nicole, and we're just it's
Awesome.
funny
Yeah.
how
I didn't even mention
we're-
that Heartland Publishing is the next chapter basically of the song, so that more songs can be sung through our publishing company that patriots and individuals can have access to, because the big guys won't do it. Just like the big guys don't report the news that I report about the Heartland, stories about the Heartland.
the Heartland. And I'm originally from Washington, so you say Mill Creek, and I'm already thinking of Central Market and the wonderful seafood that we can't get here in Texas. We love Washington. I know you're dying to ask him the question.
Well, it's just amazing how you evolved, how you got into this in the first place. So, what were you before you got all into this, and how did it solidify once you got there?
Well, I've always been Steve, and I've always been an only child and a guy who thought that maybe he could see through around corners and through walls and over the horizon, a little bit of a future thinker. And so during my Mill Creek days, because I had lived in Seattle, King County, for about 20 years, raising a family and doing my day job, which is wealth management, for 30 years now, 35, I ended up inheriting this little hometown newspaper that a guy moved out from Michigan. His name was Fred Fillbrook. He was 82nd Airborne, veteran. And he created this staple of the community, this Mill Creek View newspaper that covered all of the news that the Everett Herald you'll be familiar with, and the Linwood Times, and of course the Seattle Times wouldn't, because of their bias. And so during the time of COVID, he ends up in the hospital, and they won't give him his visitation rights to his young wife. And so she finally does get him at the end when they call and say, hey, we're near the end here. She asks, what would you like to do with the paper, Fred, if something happens to you? And she said, call Steve. And I said, why? Why me? I mean, I don't know anything. My daughter had actually gotten a job delivering the newspaper door to door, which was the staple of the paper, because it's the old-fashioned print, door to door, free. Because she was only 15 and McDonald's wasn't hiring. They're all closed during COVID. So because she got the job, I got the job, because I had to drive her from neighborhood to neighborhood so she could walk around with these 400 papers. And so I got to know Fred a little bit, picking up her checks, dropping off the extra paper, picking up a couple if we didn't have enough. And he thought he saw something in me that I didn't even know, and that was the ability to get this paper back up on its feet, keep the core principle of it, and keep those kids delivering newspapers out in the fresh air and learning some capitalism and some responsibility. Oh, and through that, I decided, let's make a podcast. Let's make a website. He hadn't brought it into the 21st century. So I did. And here we are now, 500 episodes later.
Yes, and I want to talk about that. There's so much that I want to ask you, because you mentioned cancel culture, and that to me needs to be talked about more. But you have some brilliant minds on your podcast. And you had mentioned too something about voices that otherwise would not be heard.
I would just basically have these conversations with people that I had no real standing with, to get to the core of the matter. So why were you canceled? So I had the original cancel culture actress, famous actress Jennifer O'Neill from Brazil. Her first movie was with John Wayne. Big hit show in the 80s called Undercover, where they kind of like Charlie's Angels. They were models and solving crimes around Europe disguised as agency models, and she was the agency head. Anywho, she goes on The View, very big popular show, the ladies of The View, and she literally talks about her abortion. And on the way to the elevator, she gets a call from her agent, who fired her. Same story with Nick Searcy, who was one of the lead roles of the hit show Justified. He made a ton of movies, Fried Green Tomatoes and Castaway with Tom Hanks. He did a documentary about the Jan Sixers. His agent fired him. I'm like, wait a minute, you're supposed to be working for these people who are standing out as patriots and help their career, not cancel them. Jason Aldean, same situation. His PR agency fired him for just telling his wife on Twitter that he loves her baby, because she was saying, thank God my parents didn't, stick me in my tomboy era so that I could, grow up to be a full-fledged woman and reach my potential. Unlike Chloe Cole, who I had on my show, who literally was trying to figure out, why was I tricked into transitioning to a male was born a female? Now I want to go back, and suing Kaiser for it. So, and her lawyer, Harmeet Dillon. So, yeah, long story short is I just find people that I have no real reason to talk to or interact with, bring them on the show if they're willing, and get to the core of why would society want to shut you down. And more often than not, it's an ulterior motive that really should be the opposite. We should be celebrating these people. Dr. Malone, McCullough, Tenpenny, so many, that exactly that. So that's sort of the theme of the show. Some people are authors and they, and musicians, and they're just popular and they do what they do. But there are some that have been on that really, really were trying to be canceled. And the answer is, or the question is why? And the answer is usually in their discussion, because you can see the ulterior motives. You can see why they will, follow the money, so to speak. I used to threaten I was going to change the title of the show to Follow the Money, because a lot of the times that's the reason. We just had an individual who's a lawyer trying to protect the most biodiverse river in the North America, maybe the world, because they want to dump stuff into it. And, so they, of course, Big Ag doesn't want to hear from him, but I did. So he came on the show.
We're going to take a short break and come back with more brilliant stuff. This guy definitely has a voice for people, and people are stepping up listening to his program. This is awesome. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Lori Hardy, and I help business owners go from frustration to ease when it comes to podcasting. If you're looking to boost your credibility and grow your business but feel overwhelmed by the process, I've got you covered. With over 30 years of experience in top radio markets, I know how to make your voice heard. My 7-day Podcast Pro program helps you move from scattered and unsure to confidently launching and maintaining a podcast that connects with your audience, builds your legacy. It's done with ease and minimal time. Plus, I'll share insider tips to help you rank in the top 5% and take your message national or even global. 7-day Podcast Pro is your launch pad. Let's get your voice into the world where it belongs.
Welcome to the Rockstar Diaries Virtual Summit, May 2nd at 5 p.m. Central Time.
Rockstar Diaries Virtual Summit, 6 ladies that will redefine what it means to be a rock star. Healing Out Loud. Join us Saturday, May 2nd, 5 p.m. Central Time.
Welcome back to Rockstar Diaries Healing Out Loud with Heart, Humor, and Harmony. We are here with the amazing Steve.
And you know what? We just got to ask, because we know you have a heart for what you're doing. It's like not everybody can do this kind of stuff, do podcasting, TV, and all that, and have a joy in it, because you're helping others. And that is what basically Hearts in Sync is all about, trying to get that Hearts in Sync around the world together. And you're part of this, and it's like amazing. Yeah. And so what if you could have anybody on your show to talk about an interesting subject, who would you go for next? Because you know what, they might be listening. Get you on your show. Who would you want?
Well, the most important one I'd ever want is River Phoenix, and I'll tell you why in a second, because I can't get that person on, obviously. But Clint Eastwood would be certainly a priority, because one of the things that I do with urgency is I'm trying to get people on before they die, right? I don't want Brad Arnold to not be able to come on my show because he died. I tried, And so, I know it's kind of ghoulish, but I really want to capture these stories before time takes them away or God takes them away. So I recently had a show with a gentleman named Joe Thrasher. He's the last surviving member of the Thrasher Brothers, who was a Christian contemporary gospel and country music band that played in a Grand Ole Opry and with Elvis, and just, huge, but people born today will have no clue. And he's, like I said, the last surviving member. He's up there. So Dolly Parton is another one that it's like, come on, Dolly. And I've tried every 6 months, I ask. So if you're listening, Dolly, please. But yeah, River Phoenix, I just want to throw out real quick. He's sort of the reason why is because I was there the day he died at the Viper Room. And that is the reason why I didn't have my career and life after college in LA. I used to go every Halloween to the Viper Room, and Johnny Depp owned it. And I was there when he died, and I watched his brother run to the payphone, to call 911, and it was a terrible situation. And it woke me up to say, I don't think I want to do the young Hollywood thing anymore. So I've had people like Jameson Newlander on, who's from the movie Lost Boys. And I've had Kirk Cameron on, who grew up in TV, in the 80s, that whole life. And so he knows those type of stories that they were kind of canceled because they were willing to. Corey Haim, another example, and Corey Feldman. So I just, to answer your question, I just really want as many people that interest me before they're gone, because someday they might be, and especially young. So young Hollywood is very interesting to me. Next week, I actually get to interview the young guy from this new movie, Song Song Blue, the movie I'm talking about with Hugh Jackman, and that he's a Neil Diamond impersonator. So the boy who plays his stepson and Kate Hudson's son is coming on. So that's what I love. Young Hollywood who understand that if you don't pay attention to older, wiser people, you could fall into that trap, that temptation.
What secret nuggets do you have? What is your process for getting these amazing people on your show? And how do you pull the truth out of them?
It's a God thing, to be honest with you. I will find somebody making an interesting wave. Maybe they got a book coming out. Maybe they've got an album coming out. Maybe they're going on tour. Maybe they got a movie. Or, they all have agents and managers and publicists. And so you have to go with the blind emails, unless you're blessed like I have been, to live in a place like Nashville, Tennessee, where people say, hey, you should interview my friend, this person, that person, that person. I'm like, okay, bring them on. So there's a gentleman, for example, who moved here around the same time I did, 40-year agent in LA. One of his clients was in the movie Die Hard. And so he happens to live in Germany. So he came into the show live, 10 p.m. Germany time, whatever my time was at the time. And we got to finally answer the question, is Die Hard a Christmas movie or not, based on the guy who literally is in the elevator with the ho, 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 I have a machine gun now, dead character. That was him, Andreas. So those are just the blessings from heaven to be able to say, Steve, you shouldn't know Greg. Greg shouldn't recommend any people to you, but he did, and we had a great show. And now I'm in the history books as having the guy definitively say, yes or no, is it a Christmas Story? I'm not going to spoil it. You have to watch it.
You bring so much golden nuggets that people might not even realize. It is so we've been in the entertainment and other, leadership spaces for decades. And connection takes work. It's not just, a one and done email. It really is fostering relationships. And we've had opportunities, and clients will come to us and say, well, what can you guarantee? What stages can you guarantee? Or set me up with this person, set me up with that, which that's what we love to do. We love to connect, but it does take fostering and love and God, and I'm glad that you bring that up, because it's not just something that, just happens, right? Right. Do you want to add to that? Because I know connection and working hard is your 2026 word.
I love that. It's my 2026 word. But, I was thinking something in my brain here, which is not usually common. Actually, getting a good thought out. So I got to go on that.
Okay.
So what's awesome about you is that you are a platform for the cancel culture. And it's sad in this world today where you can be on either side, liberal or conservative, and be canceled.
Yeah.
Because everybody is like hardcore polarized, and no matter what subject it is. And I think it's great that you have an ability to give a voice to anybody on your show, which is really cool. They get it out, and then people decide what is it about, what they're talking about. I love that about you.
It's not just the cancel, by the way. It's also the behind the scenes. Sorry, go ahead.
Cool. But I'm just saying, what is in your heart right now that you would love to have that story just come out?
Well, so that leads us to Heartland Publishing. So one of the stories that I was blessed to have is a guy who wrote 90 songs for John Bon Jovi. You wouldn't know that because I didn't even know that, Roger Daltrey didn't write his own songs because he owned every song he did, right? You kind of figure like, that's him. Well, I had him on, and not only did I have him on because he liked me so much and we actually have a relationship now, he introduced me to his hit songwriting son-in-law and daughter who were on and did my Christmas show, which is Rose and Rodney Atkins. And so they sang, live on my show. That's because of relationships, like you're saying. But Billy was a behind-the-scenes guy he was a hit maker in his own right in the 80s, but John and their collaboration made some amazing music you wouldn't even know. And so that story was more important to me than, say, even John, although I would love to have John on if he's willing to. So that's the relationship. You're absolutely right, and that's the theme: is that it's unsung heroes, behind the scenes people that could in their own right be the top if they could. So his book, he created an audio a play, original music. He does all the voices, all that kind of stuff. So that we're going to make that into an audiobook, and we're going to make that into a book too. So Heartland Publishing, which didn't exist 6 months ago, is right there for him to help propel that voice even further.
You're watching the Rockstar Diaries TV show.
All right, folks, you won't want to miss the new show, Rockstar Diaries, starring Janine and Tracy Smith. Check it out.
You're invited to the party. Rockstar Diaries TV show.
Cedar Ridge Acres. So, why? 'Cause you smell good.
Just want to add to that I was born and raised in Southern California, and my best friend, her brother was a movie producer, so I was kind of in that world, and I saw a lot of the things that you were talking about that kind of steered me away from that. And then in the music world, we all know, especially if you're in a touring rock band, the lifestyle. He, got stopped doing drugs and alcohol when he was 15 because of seeing things from his brother and dad, right? I don't want to speak your story. Yeah. I want to know, is there a story that a guest shared that just blew you away?
Well, they all do. It's unbelievable how, like, sometimes I'll hit play ready to record and I'll be like, this story's I don't know if this is going to be a good story. And then by the end, I'm like, that was an amazing story. Like, the guy who basically is a whistleblower for Boeing, or this Duck River situation I just told you about, the biodiverse river in Tennessee. But I think the one that's going to always stand out to me, and I know, I mean, I have a show, so you can't not be a name dropper when you have the titles of the show is the person's name, not even Steve. John Schneider. John Schneider was Bo Duke in The Dukes of Hazzard, and his very first movie ever was Smokey and the Bandit. And so I got him on the show, and it was about 4 months after his wife died. And his wife was his producer. So all of the things he's been doing ever since was just this amazing thing. And so in the beginning, happened to be Halloween, by the way. So the poor guy, was kind of sad and lonely, and you can imagine, right? He's missing his wife, and he doesn't know what the future is for his career and all this kind of stuff. And by the end of the show, I had him laughing, and he's having a good time, and we stop it, and he's like, that was fun, that was great. We got him to do a yeehaw, and he told us that like he's recognized on the street more now for being Clark Kent's dad in Smallville than he even is.
Yes.
So that just, obviously, I'm 55, and back then I was like 15, so I'm watching this thing 14, and I'm just having this great show. And so that one, just to be able to make a star from my childhood, from a kind of a sad guy, like, why am I bothering to do this, to like having a great time and laughing on Halloween. I mean, the doorbell's ringing and kids are trying to, get treats, and my wife's taking the dog's barking, and he and I are just having this great conversation. So that I'll just love. And we talk more about music than we did about TV. So and I knew this. So one of my claims to fame is that people are always like, you were really thorough. Did you actually read my book? Because most people don't read my book. You go on Hannity for 60 seconds. Why would you read the book? I'm like, oh yeah, I read the book, or else I wouldn't even have you on. And I try to book people out a month or so in advance so I can do that. If I could just throw in real quick, I had a 3-parter that was never intended to be anything. There's a daytime Emmy winning actress named Martha Byrne. And I think it was Days of Our Lives. I forget which of that. A lot of facts and figures in my brain, as you can imagine. She came on not because she was a daytime TV person, but because her husband, who was the most decorated NYPD cop in New York at the time, was too close to something really important, and they wanted to throw him in jail. And he was a private investigator. And so we talked episode 1 about what's going on with him. He obviously couldn't talk because of lawyers and all the rest. Episode 2, he goes to jail. The bad guys actually threw him in there, and it's all caught in this cancel culture, Jan 6. Like, wait, why is this happening to this most decorated policeman? And then and she wrote a book, so we have to do that. And then episode 3, Trump pardoned him. They were together, the two of them, and we got to happily ever after. That even though he had that miserable experience of having to actually go to jail far from home, they were back together again. So kind of a happily ever after. So those two will be my favorites. And she sent me an autographed book, of course, and that type of thing. So I have a treasure of that. And I got a General Lee over there too from John, who I met after the show at a convention that I did for Kevin Sorbo. So yeah, I think those two will be my standouts. And then the Chloe Cole one, but I don't want to make anyone cry or anything. That's a tearjerker.
Oh, thanks for sharing those stories.
It's so cool.
They come flooding back when you ask. It's hard to pick one.
Yeah, I hear you.
Well, it's cool. You have all those experiences. That's awesome. We're going to talk about your song right now because we're going to play it. And we would like you to describe a little bit about it, how you came about, and what it really means to you.
Well, thank you, because just like I was never an author 4 months ago, I was certainly never a songwriter 4.5 months ago. But once we knew the title of the book, I'm like, shoot, I got to write a song. I mean, song is in the title. Like, if I can be an author, I can be a songwriter, maybe. So I was one of the blessings I have had is that a guy named Porter Martin, who is a country music singer in Nashville, is a friend of mine now. He was on the show. We went to his studio and we recorded his show. And I asked him, hey, I want to write a song to go as a companion to this book. Can you help me? And he said, sure. So we went up there, 2.5 hours, bam, we knocked it out. I already had all the themes and the story, and it's very personal. If you play it, I might even cry. And it just happened. I mean, they talk about these things like, oh, songs take 50 years, 40 years, whatever. It's like, yeah, that's probably true for some, but this one just boom. So it's the theme of the show now. Instead of the Heartland by George Strait, we've got Porter Martin, and Porter Martin just subsequently happens to have 8 weeks in a row #1 on the indie chart. So he's the exact type of theme that we like, independent guys making it happen. And he just sold out a bunch of nights in Hawaii. He's just a great dude. And so you'll see for yourself. It's his voice. I can't sing. Apparently I can co-write a song, and I can write a book if you like it. If you don't like it, I can't write a book, but I think you will, because it was supposed to be 30,000 words and it's 90,000 words. But it flies by because it's all about the guests I've had on, and they're fascinating. So judge for yourself. It's like any art. If you hate it, you hate it. If you don't like that horse right there, it's not my fault. I didn't paint it, but the song I wrote.
Cash made Merle in San Quentin, New Year's Day in '59. Echoed on the radio with the river in my mind. We buried my old man when I was 6 years old. Left me a 3-foot stack of vinyl, a lot of Wayman and some Jones. God took him but didn't leave me all alone. He turned water into wine, I turned whiskey into songs. Too many second chances, too many too far gones. Gave me grace along the way, took my heart and led me home. Don't you see, it's a God thing for me. Now I write songs about the heartland, my heartland's in Tennessee. It's a long way to Nashville from that Napa Valley vine. Put me on a road less traveled, but Lord, now I know why. God knew I'd get there in His perfect time. As He turned water to wine, I turned whiskey into songs. Too many second chances, too many too far gones. Gave me grace along the way, took my heart and led me home. Don't you see, it's a God thing for me. Now I write songs about the heartland, my heartland's in Tennessee. He turned water into wine, I turned whiskey into songs. Too many second chances, too many too far gones. Gave me grace along the way, took my heart and led me home. Don't you see, it's a God thing for me. Now I write songs about the heartland, my heartland's in Tennessee. Now I write songs about the heartland, my heartland's in Tennessee.
Get it while it's hot or cold. So good.
How long it takes. Paul McCartney wrote Live and Let Die in 10 minutes. So, I mean, of course he's a genius, but it can happen to anybody that comes out.
Yeah, and Christina Aguilera, the song that made her famous, Beautiful, well, she went into Linda's studio and they were doing like a rough draft. Like she was just sitting down and they're like, okay, let's just play the piano and just kind of do it. And she was like, okay, just to get the idea down. After that, she couldn't record anything better than what was recorded right then and there. And they used the original vocals while she was just sitting. Christina at first was really mad. She's like, no, I want it to be totally polished. And Linda's like, Linda Perry, she's like, no, truly, it comes from the heart, And I have to ask, though, about that song. Do you consider it your baby?
Oh, yeah. I'm trying to write the side 2 now. I want to do a 45, like the old school, which is, if you see it on YouTube, that's the cover. And it certainly is you'll hear the lyrics. I mean, it's an encapsulation of my growing up and finding my way to Nashville to have this conversation with you now. Ironically enough, I had a gal on who is a falconer, but she actually wrote the song Breathe for as a Faith Hill. I believe it's Faith Hill, which is like a huge hit. And so there's another unsung story, but her life is way more interesting than the creation of that song that went on to, move a million or 10 million people and sell a lot of units.
We write music for ourselves and then for TV and film and for commercials. And there's a lot of different, avenues that we take for songwriting. And the ones that are our babies, we hold so tightly, and we've been told don't do that, but we're like, no, there are some songs that are just near and dear to our heart. In fact, one of them, we're singing at a assisted living center to bring joy to the residents today, and he wanted me to do one of my songs, and I said, I really don't want to because it's my baby, and I don't know if that's bad, indifferent, unfair, but I'm like, no, I don't really want to do that. But
well, when you only have one, like an only child, like I am, it is my only child, my baby. But at the back of the book is a QR code, and you take a picture of it, and it takes you to the song, so you can hear it yourself, and that kind of makes sense of the book. But what's important is that I'm from Napa, California, where the wine comes from. And, I was born in 71. My dad passed away in 1977, the same year that Elvis died and Star Wars came out. So I'm a 6-year-old boy, only child, growing up over there. And so you'll hear the lyrics as to, well, how'd you get through that? And then they have this thing called Bottle Rock, which is a annual concert with lots of artists, 3 nights in Napa. My mother was very instrumental in creating that, because she ran the fairgrounds. And so she was able to create this, but she died the year it was released, the first year of it. And I was there, taking care of her because we knew she was on life support. And so that came out. And so now I'm trying to get Porter there to sing this song at my hometown. And so if there's cosmic justice in the world, that'll all come about. So I'll just throw it out there. So Bottle Rock 2020, 8, 9, 10, hopefully Porter Martin will sing Songs About the Heartland written by Steve in the concert that my mother was able to leave as a legacy before she passed in 2013.
You know what, Ginny, what time it is?
It's time for the hard question.
Dun, dun, dun. Okay, now here it is. This is pretty wild. So now you are going to dinner at your favorite place. You love the food there. And what you want to do is you want to bring 2 people together. Doesn't matter if they're alive or dead. 2 people you would love to have to be witness of that conversation together at that dinner. Who is it and what do you have for dinner?
Do they have to be alive?
You don't have to be alive.
Okay, well, it'd be Jesus and Ronald Reagan, and we'd probably have fish.
Oh, what kind of fish? Halibut?
Whatever he makes.
Okay.
Holy mackerel?
Probably not halibut, because that would be the hell of it. But yeah, holy mackerel would probably.
He answered that right away.
Yeah,
that is amazing. Good. Why Jesus and Ronald Reagan?
Oh, well, I mean,
What conversations would you want to see happen?
Jesus has all the answers, and Ronnie was doing the best he could, I believe, as a politician to keep America on the straight and narrow. And I've taken that mantle as best I could. So I'm very much a Reagan optimist. If you saw the movie, I've had the screenwriter of the movie on. I had the producer, Mark Jacobs, on. I've had Kevin Sorbo on, who plays his pastor. I had Jennifer O'Neill, who played his mother. I've had Dennis Quaid on, who played Reagan himself. I'm trying to get, what's her name? I can't remember all of a sudden. Nancy Reagan, like that is it right there. I mean, if you're looking for themes as to what Steve's trying to do, he was the ultimate outsider that went to D.C. and it went a different path ever since he died, which is exactly what I'm trying to say. Like Clint Eastwood, come on, it's going to go a different path when you're gone. We're not going to see those type of Westerns anymore. So, yeah, I just have a feeling that Aristotle, Socrates, all these legends, Buddha, they would be fine. But if you just want to get right to it and you only have a dinner over fish, give me Reagan, give me Jesus, and all the questions will be answered right there.
Okay. I got a trivia question about Ronald Reagan. See if you can answer this one. He was a bodyguard, and he actually saved people from drowning. Do you know how many he was credited for saving?
Yeah, he was a lifeguard in the movie for sure. 100?
77.
77. That's a perfect number.
Yeah, it is. I watched that movie and I'm thinking to myself, wow, I always loved Ronald Reagan, but just watching that, it brought
awesome
to light so many things. Yeah. And I've talked to so many people. We're international best-selling authors, but we're in anthologies. And so for the first time in my life, I'm writing a book. Awesome. And I'm working with you and Nicole on that. So what would you say to the folks out there? We believe everybody should have a book, because when you have a story meant to impact the world, there's so much about you that people need, that may not know, that could really change their lives. So can you just add to that, like about your publishing company and how one would contact you?
Oh, yeah, you can definitely go to heartland-publishing.com. We give a free hour-and-a-half or so consultation to see if, where you are in your book writing process. If you have it in your brain and you want to get it all the way to distribution to all the big channels like Walmart and Amazon, we'll take you all the way through. If you've already written it, now you're looking for distribution, we'll help you there. We basically try to fill in the void between self-publishing, which you get very little from, or the big guys like Simon & Schuster or Penguin, who don't do such a great job taking care of their authors. We want to take care of our authors. And so a good example is Howie. So Howie Klausner wrote Space Cowboys for Clint Eastwood. He did the Bethany Hamill story. He's worked with a director named Sean McNamara for decades. He's also a USC Trojan like me. And he wrote Reagan. So he was on the show. We talked about Reagan. He's a Reagan historian. We both have that in common. Lots of chat. He's going to write a book for us. We're going to write his book, which is basically the next chapter of his career. I don't know if I can tell the title, but he's writing a book. Never did before. He's written a lot of screenplays, never a book. We want to be the guy who can help him edit it, gloss it up, get it on audio, get it out there, promote it, get him on podcasts, get him on TV shows, whatever he wants to do.
You're watching the Rockstar Diaries TV show.
Welcome to the Rockstar Diaries Virtual Summit, May 2nd at 5 p.m. Central Time.
Rockstar Diaries Virtual Summit, 6 ladies that will redefine what it means to be a rock star. Healing Out Loud. Join us Saturday, May 2nd, 5 p.m. Central Time.
So somebody's got to fill in the gap, and if they want to do it, I'll do it. I just basically picked up the model that Rupert Murdoch picked up when he moved into America in the early 80s with, Married with Children and The Simpsons, because half of America wasn't being catered to by the news. They only had their 3 channels and a bias. He comes along and says, well, I'll take the other half of the country, which turned out to be more like 65% of the country. And instantly, channel number 4, after all those decades, was a huge success, and he made billions. I don't want to make billions. I just want to fill in that gap where these artists that, darn it, should be heard, can be heard. And that's key. That's why it exists. That's why I created it. And I had to prove the concept by doing it myself first. So it's books, songwriting, and screenwriting, all 3. We can help you in 3 different worlds, because if you're familiar with the publishing world and if you're familiar with the songwriting world, and there's a lot of silos and a lot of gatekeepers, they don't want you. We want to bust down those doors, especially if we think we have something on our hands that is powerful and needs to be heard.
Excellent.
We just are so grateful that we met you, because your mission, your heart is in alignment with what we're doing and in alignment with what needs to happen in our world. The world needs a heart transplant. Voices need to be heard. I just love everything that you're doing, and I just want to thank you for your services.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
I just want to throw out, so Sean Patrick Flaherty was on the show, and he was the star of that movie Nefarious that had a really hard time breaking out, but once it did. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. And so maybe he'll write a book for me. Maybe he'll work with me on a movie. I don't know. But I know him now, and I know his story was one where he doesn't live in LA. He lives in Oklahoma. He's not part of that cabal. He had, they had to do this independent film that was a big success. He didn't get nominated for Academy Award. No way. They didn't do a nice big write-up in Variety. But that's still valuable and needs a place. And so I'm trying to be that little island where people can find that place if they want it. So if that's you out there listening, give us a call. Go to the website, get the free consultation. We'll tell you if it's something marketable and how we can go about getting it done for you. Like I said, from ghostwriting to just editing what you've already got to make it what we think is a marketable commodity. So yes, it's open for business. Come on in, meet Nicole, have that consultation, and we can help you too. You don't have to be a big superstar like John Schneider or Sean Patrick Flaherty. You just have to be somebody with a heart for creativity and something to say.
I just want to throw this out there. We're amazing writers, and we also write screenplays. We have training on that, and we don't use ChatGPT. We actually do it ourselves. In fact, another guy that was an amazing guy named Mike Smith was on our show, and he is now doing a movie through our inner circle. I just want to throw, and you know who
I had Mike Smith on the show last week.
He is an amazing guy. And so it's funny how things come full circle. It is about who you know, but I'm not saying that from a monetization, like rising, just making the world a better place. And we're not in this world alone. You are not alone out there.
Well,
I'm
walk
glad
through
that
Barnes
mentioned,
and Nobles
hey,
and
come
see the
us.
titles, and you'll say, there's something missing here. What is it? And it's probably a big library of Heartland Publishing type stories that need to be heard.
I agree. The stories that need to be heard the most are being shushed. They're being. I think about that gal you mentioned, The View earlier, Elizabeth Olsen, I believe her name was, when she was kicked off for her. It was very early on, so this is many years ago.
Elizabeth Hasselbeck?
Yeah. I don't know why I said Olsen. That she's an actress. I'm bad with names, but anyways, when you're kicked off for speaking the truth, speaking your mind, that's happened to us so many times. We've been told sometimes, okay, you're invited on this stage, but please don't ever say Jesus, don't ever say God, don't ever, I mean, they're trying to shush us, and that's just one example, but thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's thousands of examples, unfortunately. It's never running out of content to create, and some of them are in the book, and some more will be in more songs about the Heartland when I write the second one, because 500 episodes, I got him in there. The ones I had, like Mike Smith, he'll have to be in the next one, and he will be.
Yes, yes.
We'd like to thank Steve for being on the show. It's been a great honor for us to talk to you. And is there any golden nuggets, like mantra, you want to pass on to help our audience with anything, that they can pass on, they can take with them?
I can only throw back to my tagline, which is basically always an interesting guest, making a positive impact in our community, and lovers of truth. If you fit that category, you love truth, come talk to us. We want your book, we want your song, we want your movie.
There you have it.
Our mantra is hearts are in sync when people listen. And then mine is when you own your story, you own your power. So go and be on his show.
And mine is don't be afraid to look stupid, act stupid, or be stupid. No one's perfect.
And we do that very well on this show.
I'm an expert at that too, yeah.
Hey, Steve, what's this 3 and 3 thing you're talking about?
So every Friday I do a 3 and 3. It's goes right in line with this theme I'm telling you about. So it's the 3 news stories the mainstream media either forgot to tell you or didn't want you to know, right? So they've got their propaganda and they don't tell you the important stories. And so I tried to do it. And it's 3 and 3 minutes, or as close as I can to 3 minutes. But it's not actually my face, this guy you're seeing on the Heartland Journal podcast. It's my AI guy. So I write it. It's definitely, my voice, but it's my animated version of myself. And so he's got a little bit of a life of his own. We have the Heartland Journal Awards coming up. The winners will be announced in April. Last day to vote is March 31st. We got 4 categories: Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Female Singer, Best Male Singer, that are Heartland chosen. So subscribers and people new to the website get to vote who they want. So unlike the corporations that vote for the Grammys and the Emmys and the Oscars, which were terrible and losing viewers all the time, we're trying to give real people real choices on real artists that we think are up and comers or successful. And so through that, he is sort of the MC host of that little universe on social medias of we call him Stevie. He's AI me, and he reads the copy that I write to just make it a little bit more entertaining. So every Friday, we've had 30 weeks in a row of this now, where I read the 3 stories that I don't think, whether it be about the Iran war. So, we've talked all this show about entertainers and artists, Nick Searcy and actors and singers. But this is it is a news website. Heartlandjournal.com is news. And so every Monday through Friday, there's a newsletter that goes out that has stories that are from the Heartland: Nebraska fires, AI and data centers being drilled in Texas in drought conditions, real stories, real news that they're not going to tell you on NBC, Fox, or CNN in 3 minutes.
Nice.
That is amazing. You heard it first here on Rockstar Diaries. We can't take credit. All right. Thank you.
And that's on
much.
YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, all the channels you'd ever want to find, except the mainstream media, unless they invite me on, which they have not yet.
Well, we love you. We're going to put all of your handles and how people can contact you in the notes and in the chat. So there you have it, everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Bye.
Rockstar Diaries swag. Scan now.
Get your exclusive gear.
Check it out.